minister, and he meets a godly woman named Miss Beatrice. And in his encounter with her, his as we are meeting him, his faults, you might say, his sins come into view, his sort of petty avarice, and his fallen state, if you will, come into view. And in his visit with this woman, whom he's effectively inviting to attend his church, a dreadful thing happens. And the thing that happens is from the mind and imagination of A.L. Gates, who is a local writer and author. I don't know, A.L., that I could say you're a novelist, but you're writing a series of short stories, and we have coming out the Scenic City Cafe Volume 3 from this 54-year-old writer here in Chattanooga, whose stories are, they're not about Chattanooga, of course, but they're set here. And if you read them, you will see references to local streets and local places, to the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. And it's perhaps an unusual side effect to the many effects that any story will bring you. Even a story badly written will have its effects, right? So we admit that all stories create their own reality. And you, the reader of a Gates novel or a Hemingway novel or a Gates story or a Hemingway story, you enter into this alternative reality. You submit yourself to the author, and the stream of words carry you into this alternative existence, this alternate existence. So, A.L. Gates, welcome to the program. Tell my listener about this story in your new volume, in your Scenic City Cafe series, Volume 3, the second tale called Miss Beatrice. Who's Miss Beatrice, and who is Jacob, her visitor? What's it about, and and we're going to want to ask, okay, well, what are you telling me, the listener, the reader of this story?
Well, thank you for having me, David. Glad to be on your show again. I'd like to tell you, I guess the best way to say this is Mrs. Beatrice is actually based on my own mother. Yes, my mother was a Bible teacher. She would teach a weekly Bible school for the local kids in our home. Sometimes during the week, every week on a Tuesday morning, she would have a weekly Bible study for the ladies of the church. They would all drive over and they would drink coffee and tea, and they would talk about the good word. And during that time, I was honing my writing skills, not knowing what I was going to do with my life. I decided I was going to write. And the idea of what would happen if something really crazy and wild came up in the house and took over these nice, godly ladies that were reading the Bible, or a young man that comes over to sell encyclopedias. What would happen to him if he found out the good old Bible lady was evil, in a good way? I guess the best way to put it is these are stories about the things that matter the most here in Chattanooga to me. Religion is very important to people here in Chattanooga. Where you went to school is very important to people in Chattanooga. Race is important to people. It's just part of growing up here. And I try to twist all these things into stories that are going to keep Chattanoogans and Southerners and, well, people that want to get to know more about this area, keep them intrigued.
Well, hold on there. It seems like you are stooping a bit in your purposes, A.L. Gates. A writer of fiction, I would think, has a higher purpose than getting people interested in his part of the world. When you're writing a story, it's not really about Chattanooga. Chattanooga is just a tool in...
It's a vehicle.
A vehicle. It just has to be the place, and so these are sort of incidentals. And someone who's reading your story, your fiction stories, is not going to really think about Chattanooga directly. I mean, if it's a very passive thing. So, what are the higher? So I'd say that locale is a lower purpose. What are among the higher purposes, A.L. Gates, of this story and others?
Well, I mean, the one thing about learning about this area, I look at other writers. Take Stephen King, for example. He writes a lot, and he engages people with New England and Maine and the such. And it made me, in fact, want to drive to Maine and go to Bangor and just visit Maine and learn more about this area that my favorite author lived in. There's a young lady in New Hampshire. Her name is Maxine Baldiga. In fact, I've got to send her a book very soon. And she emails me and messages me on a regular basis, wanting to know more about Chattanooga and what what about this area inspired me? So I think sometimes you write what you know, and I've traveled the world, but I know this. After living away for 20 years, I wanted to come back because I know this area. It's in my blood. And when you write what you know, you write authentically. And the thing for me is I want to write authentic stories that people all over the world will become engaged with.
And that is to say, the characters and their circumstances, you want the reader to have an empathy and to sort of give his own life up for a time to enter into the world, the fictional world that you have created, which is an all-encompassing reality. And that's the whole beauty of fiction. It does put you into an alternative realm in which you, the sovereign, if you will, you control the understanding, you control the meaning, you control the lesson if there is a lesson. You control the sense, all the sort of imaginary senses that are invoked or evoked by your text. Now, I want to ask you about where you were in your 20 years absence, but before I forget, Miss Beatrice. Now, what happens to Jacob? Just give a sketch of what happens in the story and kind of break down for the listener why, as a reader, he would get something from the story and what it is he would get.
Well, for a certain age reader or for a certain age listener right now, we remember the days when men and women would come around to your home. They would actually come from local churches. I'm sure it still happens now. And they would knock on your door and they would ask you to come to church with them on Sunday. And of all those people, some of them were really sincere in their efforts. They wanted you to come to church and worship and visit them. And some were just doing it just to do it. They were doing it for other reasons. And that's Jacob. And I don't want to give away too much of the story. We're just going to say Jacob is he's not sincere with what he wants. He wants more out of life. And it's not always doing it the right way.
He thinks that somehow Christianity and religion will give him less than he wants.
Yeah, he wants a little bit more out of life than walking the straight and narrow. Sometimes he wants to get a little crooked. And so he's just not sincere. And I think maybe a good Bible woman like Mrs. Beatrice can read that he's an insincere young man. And she just wants to help him get on the straight and narrow.
Well, what evil, characterize if you can without giving too much away, how does an evil, effectively a judgment, come against him? And how do you justify what happens in the story from the premise of the story, from the way it's written, which is sort of very, very realistic up to a certain point?
Well, I think it says in the Bible, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. If you steal, you must cut off your right hand. If you see iniquity, you must gouge out an eye. And I guess Mrs. Beatrice feels that this young man is full of iniquity and sin. I think Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Some people just don't get all the way there, and they just get cut short. And I think that's what Mrs. Beatrice is here to do, cut him short.
So the story is not a realistic story about life in Chattanooga. It has a phantasmagorical, kind of dark magical element in it.
Yeah, I mean, to evoke Stephen King again, I'm fairly certain that a number of Stephen King stories. I'm waiting. I'm going to check out the news for that large Saint Bernard that just attacked a woman and her child in a car. I mean, once again, it happened in Maine, but it doesn't mean that it actually happened. The story was written there. So these are stories that are set in Chattanooga that could happen anywhere.
Well, what is it you're trying to accomplish in your fictional work, A.L. Gates, in your Scenic City Cafe? Now we're coming out with the third edition. What's the message, if you will?
There's not a message. I don't think my fiction is designed to send a message. If someone wants a message, read the Bible. If someone wants a message, there's other places to go to get messages.
If you want to send a message, send it by Western Union.
Yes. But my job is to actually engage people and entertain them. Take a moment out of your life, if you like supernatural horror fiction that is based on things and people that you might know here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Take a few minutes out of your life, open one of my books, read a short story. Some of them are 5,000 to 10,000 words in length. In book one, The Chase is only 680 words. You can just take a few minutes away from everything and just forget life.
And that's the advantage of fiction and poetry together.
That's correct. That's why I don't read. That's why I don't write poetry.
Now, say something about interest in other or of other media, or what you're doing, AL Gates, using other media than typed text. Are you getting your ideas out beyond the book?
At this time, I don't have a blog. At this time, I don't, or I should say a vlog. I don't have a podcast. I do blog. I do Facebook. You can find me at A.L. Gates Author or Anthony LeBron Gates on Facebook. You can find me on A.L. Gates Author on Twitter, Instagram, etc. But other than that, I am focused on writing. In fact, some good news. I just found out last week, and a local Southern publishing company is interested in me composing my second novel, and I'm going to send them a manuscript of an unfinished novel I've been working on next week. That's good news. That's good things that are happening right now for me. I do go out and I do book signings at Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble, by the way, local store here in Chattanooga. They carry my books on a regular basis. We've had 4 rather successful book signings there. The Scenic City Cafe series is it's going to be a 4-book series, and after that, it's done. And inside the story, there is a story inside a story. It starts with an author that is stuck in a cafe, and he starts developing. He's really stuck also in a set of mental lock. He just can't think of any good ideas. And so what he does is he watches people as they come into and out and leave the cafe, and he starts to develop stories about them. And he realizes somewhere in the middle of book 2 that maybe all of this isn't real. And I don't want to give anything away on book 3 and 4, but there is an end game to what's going to happen to my author, who's named Dwayne. Dwayne is going to work on that somehow and figure out what's going on. And I'm glad you mentioned, I forgot to mention, we're also in the process of doing a web series. I don't know how I could forget that. I've just been so busy lately.
Well, say something. What is a web series, A.L. Gates?
I was working with a local producer. His name is Axel Arzola, and he looked at my original screenplay for the Scenic City Cafe series. And he suggested that rather than have a 90-minute movie, this would be better set if we cut it into small individual vignettes, similar to The Twilight Zone. And so I thought of that, and I reworked the screenplay, and I've worked it into 6 individual episodes that are 5 to 10 minutes in length. And this really sets my Dwayne character up as the main character in this. And every episode sort of rolls away into another complete set episode, and at the end comes back to Dwayne sitting in the cafe looking at a finished story that he does not know how he wrote.
This is David Tullis, and caller, thanks for ringing us here at 800-8949. That's 800-8949. And what's your question for A.L. Gates, please? Well, say something more about this series. You're going to have to find actors, A.L. Gates. You're going to have to find people. You're going to have settings. You're going to have to. A screenplay is a completely different creative act than writing a story. You're going to be involved in this other labor.
I am not going. I'm going to try not to keep myself away from the camera. I have a face that's made for radio, so I won't be in front of the camera at all. We do have a casting team, and we've got a directing team, production team. So we've had our first casting call. We may be looking for a few additional people that might want to be involved in this. And if they want to get involved, they can reach me at my Facebook page, A.L. Gates Author.
So it's A.L. Gates, A.L. no space, no periods, A.L. Gates Author on Facebook. And now, what if my listener has a place? What kind of place are they looking for? Maybe the listener can help you on that point too. Maybe he's got a house or an apartment complex or a yard with a certain shape or.
Well, we've actually found the cafe. The cafe that we're going to use is a cafe here in East Ridge. In fact, yes, the Corner Cafe. We're going to be shooting our cafe scenes there. We're still looking for other places for sets for the movie, for the film series. But I'm going to wait and talk to my production team and find out what they want to do with that.
Well, talk a bit about authors you have read and appreciate. Are there authors you recommend? My listener has children, and a couple of them are teenagers. What kind of recommendations do you have for good fiction?
Well, for me, you have to write you have to read what you like. You have to watch what you like. You have to like what you like. You can't. I'm not going to try to force myself to read Hemingway. I like Hemingway, but it's not a love of mine. Even as a child, Hemingway was not a love of mine. I enjoy him, but it's not it. Dean Koontz, like Dean Koontz. Stephen King, I like Stephen King. I like thrillers. Anne Rice, I can live with. And because I like that genre, I like the horror genre, I like scary stuff. Those are authors, writers that I can live with, and I can go to sleep with my Kindle on my tummy, going to sleep, reading them every single day.
Is there an author whose style yours, when I say resembles or reflects A.L.?
Modern style, I would definitely. I'm going to go back a step here. An older style writer who, in his day, was not really appreciated. But then, after his death and as time passed, people really started appreciating was Lovecraft.
Lovecraft. And have you read Dostoevsky for the inner workings of killers and maniacs?
No. I know who he is, but no, I just have a little bit too deep for me.
Well, if I could just drop a recommendation in here at this point, John O'Hara, the American novelist in the 40s and 50s, has probably the best American dialogue you could read. He's author of many novels based, many of them in particular Gibbsville, Pennsylvania. And then also for the power of having no narrator, I would recommend Catherine Mansfield. She wrote short stories in the 1920s and 30s. John Middleton Murray handled her collected work, but it's Catherine Mansfield, and she's called an impressionist. Now, how do you make a living? Where does your money come from? You were in the Navy. You say something about your long absence from Chattanooga. You're a military man. Are you on pension or are you on retirement with the Navy?
Yeah, and I taught school for 16 years. Enjoyed that.
What did you teach?
Elementary school. Yes, I was in charge of kids. Yes.
Where was that?
That was in Pennsylvania, and 1 year here in Chattanooga. And after that, I got early retirement. Got out of it. And my master's is in adult learning theory, and basically that is nothing more than developing learning modules for grown-ups.
So when you pushed to look through Piaget, what theories were you studying at the time?
Well, to mention Piaget, that's really easy. If you're going to talk Piaget, it's simply perspective. Everything comes back to perspective. It's how you view things. And I even use that in my writing. It's perspective. You have to be able to see something from another person's point of view. And working with adults in learning theory is pretty easy. Every adult that's going back to school or looking for advancement in their job wants to get a raise. So to get a raise, they have a completely different perspective on education than they did when they were 16 years old.
When you're a novelist or a short story writer, Al Gates, you were making an argument. Fiction is a different delivery system for your point. The thing that's burdening you, that I would say your motivation as a writer. There's something ultimately religious about it. You're trying to change someone. You're trying to have them see something. You're trying to convince that person of something. Why are you not prone to writing long-form essays? An essay is where you can make an argument explicitly. You have to use it. You have to make your arguments dramatically.
Well, okay. And for me, this is a pretty easy one. I am not writing to change the world. I am not writing. If someone wants to engage me in a political conversation, meet me out at a local pub or over coffee, we'll discuss this. I'm not trying to change the world in my writing. I'm not even trying to make someone see a different way of thinking. What I'm trying to do is entertain you in the best way that I know how. And that is scaring the living daylight out of you.
And in stories where the characters are set on some of our streets, are there here in Chattanooga, are there particular landmarks that show up more than once in your work, Mr. Gates?
Miller Park, the old Miller Park, before I know they're redoing it now. Coolidge Park's going to show up in the next book. Lookout Mountain. In fact, the silhouette of Lookout Mountain with a bullet hole is in every single novel, every single book of mine. If there's one bullet hole, it's volume 1, all the way up to volume 4.
This is David Toulis and A.O. Gates, short story fiction writer. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You can find Anthony LeBron Gates' works at at Barnes & Noble's here in Chattanooga. He's a local novelist, and he's working on his third volume. And a local, you might say a local set of mini movies is being prepared based on his work, and the Scenic City Cafe featuring his book features his landing in East Ridge. And East Ridge, again, what's the name of the cafe?
The Corner Cafe.
Corner Cafe, David Tourist, Media Radio, 92.7 FM. I've got some important messages from our sponsors. Do patronize them today.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
3 Cleveland construction workers were hospitalized after a flash fire at a work site. Reports say it was a gas fire that ignited when a worker used a cigarette lighter. The 3 injured men were working on attaching hoses to kitchen appliances at